When it comes to off-brands, China is the #1 country that is in this industry. It's believed that they began doing this since the late 80s and only grew more. And for video games, it's the exact same thing. The 90s were good years for bootlegging rings, as this was the era where Famiclones were released on an almost daily basis, as well as the Famicom's license expiring led to the creation of so many bootleg games on this platform, some of them being more well known than others. One of the biggest trends, as you would say, was to take a game from a superior game system and demake it onto the NES, which led to games like Somari, A Link to the Past, Angry Birds, and Pokemon Yellow, to name a few. But this rabbit hole goes even deeper, with even more games. Did I say games? I wanted to say operating systems. Windows 98 was a really popular system, so popular in fact that it reached to a guy called Bei Tongfang, who took a liking to it and thought it was a great idea for the Famicom and other clone systems to have a port of this operating system. And this led to the creation of Windows 98 on NES. So what are we waiting for? Go grab some 90s Crystal Pepsi and let's power on the Famicom. Or I guess the computer, because this is Windows 98. But it's also on an NES cartridge. Whatever. Upon booting up the game, we are greeted to the home screen, where we have a few programs to select. We got my computer, a folder, a briefcase, 2 computers, the recycle bin, and Internet Explorer. I love how IE is the only program that has its name in English, while the rest are in Chinese. Anyways, let's go and search the internet on our NES. Here we are on the Microsoft site. So let's... What just happened? Sohu.com? What is this? Okay, so this happened. Is this a real site? Let me go and check. So it turns out Sohu.com is a real website. So I guess Chinese news related. I'm also using the Wayback Machine, which is a site which lets you see websites in different time periods. And it seems that the website is still up to this day. So that was Sohu.com, a site that exists. By the way, the buttons of the browser and the site don't work. They are like some sort of a JPEG image, it's not interactable. Going into the computer, we have some directories, which hold some really interesting things. In my documents, there is this picture, which I guess it's impressive for NES standards. There is Photoshop and Word here, but they don't work. Also, I found another picture, this time in the D drive, which is this. I don't know why it's here, I don't know from where did it came from. Maybe it's from another bootleg NES game. But we also got this picture of a map with a bunch of islands and all of them having animal heads. I guess this might be important. Later on, I found this image of a math question, 103 plus 5,601, with some purses and luggages at the bottom. Maybe this is part of a code of sort. This map probably indicates some sort of group of islands, and the result of the math question may give some sort of direction, like, you know how in Google Maps when you right click on a place it shows these random numbers, which is like 6, 9, whatever. This resembles longitude and latitude. Maybe the numbers in the math question give us a specific place on Earth. Maybe this is to where these islands are. Maybe one of them hides some sort of thing. Yeah, I think it might make sense. So I typed the numbers from the math question and it led to this random part of Egypt. Maybe the answer of the math question 5,704 is a date of sort, like 57 days and 4 months or something like that. Probably 70 days before the game was made. There was like an Egyptian guy that knew like some kind of dangerous object that could wipe humanity. This weapon of sort is hidden in one of these islands, and he tries to tell us where these islands are. And the only way of warning us is by communicating through a bootleg Famicom game. Well, theoretical things aside, have you ever wanted a non-functional version of Paint? Well, for anybody that wants this, here you go. They also have a calculator here, but you can't even call it a calculator. They just listed all of the numbers and that's it. You can barely interact with anything here. This feels like some sort of tech demo or something. It is supposed to showcase the power of the NES instead of like, just being a bootleg game. Like, that's the vibe I'm getting from this. Probably the guy just made these two ROMs and, just distributed them on like the classic internet, and it was like, hey, I made these really good games. And then maybe a bootlegging ring got a hold of the NES files, put them on a cartridge, and then sold them. Like, this might be the reason why these things are on cartridges and, they aren't just online. Guys, I think I broke it. So it turns out Photoshop works now, but it didn't before. I mean, why didn't it work before? I mean, there was the icon, you could only just highlight it, and even if you press like the A button, if you I tried mashing it and it didn't open. Like, why is Photoshop opening right now and and it didn't before? But anyways, I think I had enough, so let's turn it off. Oh, here is the Chinese version of the classic "It's safe to turn off your computer" screen. That's interesting, which is what concludes the end of Windows 98 on NES. Overall, it was a really odd experience. Everything just felt so empty, like there was barely any kind of interactive media. There were a couple of pictures. You could, I guess, go to sohu.com and just that, but what the frick is that? Wait, what the frick? What the frick is this mosquito doing here? What are you talking about? No, this couldn't be real. Wait. Oh my god. It's real! You know what's so weird? Making a sequel to a bootleg game inspired off of a Windows operating system. This is Windows 2000 on the NES, created by our good old pal Tong Fang. Why did he even bother making a sequel? I mean, nobody even asked for a sequel. There was Windows 98. I mean, it felt kind of odd, but why do we need a Windows 2000? We didn't need a Windows 2000 to be on NES. But I guess here it is. So let's quickly review this. First, the graphics took a small upgrade. We also got a volume slider that of course doesn't work, and a couple of programs here. We also got a couple of games built in that are unplayable. I guess they used the Famicom basic keyboard, but I couldn't emulate it, so this sucks. The same can be said for other programs, like here is possibly a really downgraded version of FL Studio. We also got a finger game. I have no idea what to do. There's, I guess, a dictionary, but it only shows this. Paint is this. Hey, they actually made the calculator work this time. Congrats, I guess. Hey, you know what? While we're still here, let's try out the simple trick. We even have solitaire on here, and it's playable, which is great. However, there is one thing that I don't like about this, and it's the fact that there is no Internet Explorer this time. Probably the guy realized that he couldn't do a working browser in a Famicom game. So in conclusion, Windows 2000 is an improvement to that Windows 98 game. Well, almost. But right now my curiosity over this kind of games have actually grown. There has to be like a third Windows-based NES game. And it turns out there is one more bootleg Famicom Windows game, or whatever you want to call it. So earlier we seen Windows 98 and 2000 get demaked on the NES. However, there is also a demake of Windows XP on Famicom. However, this cartridge is lost, with its only proof of existence being these screenshots. One of them showing the cartridge itself and other 7 screenshots. A fake startup, the logo, the account login, the home screen, the file explorer, some sort of typing program, and some kind of Bomberman clone. Just like I told you 1 minute ago, the game is lost because the ROM for the game isn't dumped, unlike 98s and 2000s, which makes it a piece of lost media. Supposedly, a copy of this cartridge was sold on eBay, but there is no proof of this. However, while looking on eBay, I did find these 2 listings for the Windows 98 and 2000 cartridges, and that Windows 2000 image was the one I used earlier. However, that's besides the point. So in conclusion, we should never underestimate the power of Chinese bootleggers, because just like you've seen in this video, everything is possible. All you need is time and resources. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you stayed until the end. If you did, tell me in the comments, and also like this video and subscribe, because it really helps a lot, as I put a lot of effort in my videos. Anyways, I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.